If you enjoy the Filmmakers Podcast, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
The Podfix Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 290 of the Filmmakers Podcast. I am Giles Alderson. I'm a writer, director, and producer. And today on the show is not one Craig. Oh no, it's two Craigs. It is the fantastic Craig Heyworth and the equally fantastic Craig Roberts. They both run Filmd. Not only that, but they're also screenwriters and actors. Craig Heyworth has been in Casualty, he's been in Big in the Game, Return of the Yuletide Kid, as well as many, many others. And Craig Roberts, well, you'll probably know him from Submarine, Richard Ayoade's debut movie, or maybe Jane Eyre, maybe Comes a Bright Day, or perhaps 22 Jump Street, or maybe Tolkien, or the Horrible Histories movies. But recently, Craig has been moving much more heavily into directing, and he's directed Just Jim, which he also starred in and wrote, Eternal Beauty, which he also wrote, and that stars Sally Hawkins, Morford Clark, Penelope Wilton, Billy Piper, and Alice Lowe, to name just a few. And very recently, he directed the fantastic The Phantom of the Open, which also starred Sally Hawkins, Simon Farnaby, Steve Oram, and of course the amazing Mark Rylance, who you will know from Bridge of Spies and the BFG and Dunkirk. And if you haven't seen The Phantom of the Open, really check it out. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So we sat down, the three of us, and we had a really wonderful chat all about filmmaking, about acting, about writing, the structure behind that, where ideas come from, dealing with bad reviews. We also talked about storyboarding, on set, dealing with the actors, and why Craig Roberts wanted to move into directing. There is so much to gain from this. I don't need to go on in this intro about it. You are going to love this. It's a real joy. We also talked about their platform, Filmd, which I highly recommend you get on it now. I've already joined. It's a place where filmmakers can collaborate. They can create projects together. You can manage your production team, your schedules, your documents, everything like that. And it's a huge community, and it's growing ridiculously fast. There is forums. You can post on the community feeds. It is Filmd. Link to that is in the show notes. The word film, the letter D.co.uk, Filmd. There is also a screening room. And the boys are doing a screenwriting webinar coming up on Tuesday, the 28th of August. And it's free if you are a member. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now. You have nothing to lose. You want to be in this community. You want to be a filmmaker. You want to be part of Filmd. There's no question about it. So we talk all about that on this week's show, as well as their amazing careers and what goes into being a filmmaker from their point of view. So all that is coming up for you. For those of you who listened to last week's episode with the rather ace Joanna Coelho, talking all about cameras, lenses, what it's like on set as a cinematographer, we have so much bonus material on our Patreon. So if you fancy listening to that, head over now and sign up. Why not? If you're listening on your phone, just scroll down, sign up. There's so much bonus content on there, including why be a cinematographer and not a director, and how to land your first job in the industry, as well as that. If it's not worth signing up for that, I don't know what is. But she also talks about how to network and how she's prepping for our upcoming low-budget feature and her plans for the future. All that is on our Patreon, as well as so much other bonus material. Enough about that. Q Scripts are our collaborators. They work with both emerging talent aiming to get a break in this industry as a screenwriter, as well as established writers looking to take your scripts to the next level. More info is in the middle of this episode, but do check out qscripts.com. Link to that is in the show notes, but you are getting 3 months membership for free right now. On next week's show, we do have exec producer of movies like Rambo, Expendables, Hitman's Bodyguard, Angel Has Fallen, Day of the Dead, and The Dare. Yeah, that's right. I sat down with my exec producer, my producer from The Dare, and chatted all about why he decided to make The Dare. We also talk about so much other stuff, like running a studio, like why he produces movies, how he does it on such a huge scale at a studio. So look out for that. That is next Tuesday. Okay, let's get to it. This is myself, Craig Heyworth, and Craig Roberts chatting away about filmmaking. Enjoy.
Now we know.
Cut it all out.
Yeah. Well, this is going to cause a confusion here because every time we say Craig, it's like, which Craig?
Which
do you
Craig?
mean? Yeah.
Do people use you a Craig H? Do you have nicknames?
It's normally Craig 1 and 2.
It's often Craig 1 or 2, and I'm
Who's
rarely
one?
Craig 1. I'm rarely. It depends. With my family, I'm Craig 1, and that's it. But yeah, outside of that, it's always.
I hope with your family you were Craig 1.
Yeah.
It'd be strange if I was Craig 1 within your family.
Or it's
Yeah,
just
that
someone
way.
else and random Craig from the village. He's like, yeah, Craig 1 over there. Yeah. Our son, Craig 17.
That's too funny.
How did you meet?
So we did a
Oh dear.
a wide touring, was it? Was that?
Well, yeah,
that
it
what
was.
called?
It was a theatre and education
What?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many years ago?
many moons ago.
10 years ago, maybe.
Oh, over. It was like, yeah. Anyway,
Oh, it was over. It was about 12 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. No, 11, 12 years ago.
we're
Yeah.
really young.
Craig's like, no, my IMDb says I'm 23.
Wait, so it's clearly 4 years ago.
I was working at age 2 on theatre, yeah.
Yeah, we met on there. And I suppose we kind of didn't really get on that well. Oh, well, maybe we did.
Yeah, no, we had clashing egos, definitely.
Yeah.
We both called Craig, like,
Craig 1 and 2,
you know,
Craig-
Craig,
Craig number 2 wanted to be Craig number 1 at that point.
Yeah,
so.
Did you have none of it? And
Yeah.
Craig 1's
now
like,
I've swallowed that pill. It's gone now.
But I think we actually there's an anecdote which won't be said on here, but we played pranks on each other.
was this when you liked each other or hated each other?
Well, we got on because we're in the theatre show together, but
Yeah.
Theatre show getting on.
Yeah, getting on.
He's lovely on yeah. I really enjoy working with him.
It was and we created a really good prank on me, and I was like, oh yeah, he's great actually. He's got he can take a joke, so we kind of stayed in touch for like you went to LA to do the acting thing, and I think I came out at some point, and then
what were you doing? You came out for a film, or just auditions with your American agent? I think it was when you were just kind of hitting the ground in America with it, and I was already living in LA, and I was the only person he knew of that was there. So he's like, "Oh, Craig, aren't you in LA?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been here for I think at that point maybe 8 months or something. It's not very long." But he was like, I'm staying at the Standard or whatever it was, and on Sunset, and come on over and we'll catch up. So, and then from then we just had a laugh, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we had LA as a sort of
Yeah, but it's in LA to deal with. It's
Yeah.
like
a foundation. So, and then the friendship grew from there basically.
Yeah.
That's nice. Did you already done Submarine at that point? Were you going out there on the back of something? Or?
I was going out on the back of that because that had happened, and then I just got an agent because it played Toronto. I got an agent. I went out straight after that. That's what it was actually.
Oh, yeah.
It was straight
Okay,
after
there
that. So that was 11 years ago. 10 years ago.
No, it was, so I went out in 2010, the end of 2010. Did I? Yeah, in 2011 it was.
We really don't know.
You just
It was many years ago.
I'll edit this out just to that bit.
Yeah.
It was many years ago.
There you go.
Love it.
So let's talk about Filmd. Let's talk about how you set that up, why it came about, and why you wanted to create something, a hub for filmmakers, I suppose.
We wanted to make loads of money.
And that's working out.
And that's not working out. No,
Rockstar status mainly. Isn't
yeah.
It?
Well, there's so many,
Yeah.
pockets of it really that
Well,
we
we also come in from different backgrounds as well. So obviously, Craig has a lot of accolades, a lot of success in the industry, and I don't have that sort of level of success on within films, etc. And so I was coming at this idea of a collaboration platform for independent filmmakers from the position of filmmaking is such a collaborative process that if I want to be able to increase my skill set or show off my skill set or etc., I need cinematographers, writers, directors. I need all of the sort of all the other skill set for a film, and thus and we're all dependent on each other to be able to actually achieve in the industry, and it's so hard to get into. That it was just like I remember being like, I could be down the road from an aspiring cinematographer and have no idea they're there, and they've literally got a brand new camera for Christmas. They're looking to shoot things, and it'd be great if I could just sort of collaborate with them and sort of work with them. And I couldn't find anywhere online that sort of did that. And obviously, Craig's coming from the angle of like all the complications with managing productions and all the complication of finding new talent and all of this and funding and films. So when we were discussing it, we were like, this would be a really cool idea to create a platform that filmmakers can work together and manage projects to. And so it became this, from the minimum viable product that we originally came up with on like a whiteboard in, where were we? Where did we go? Chester. Yeah, we kind of met up in Chester, Chester. Let's actually do this. And
I don't know why we're in bloody Chester.
It's just, it's easy for you to get to at the time. I think you're in Wales as well.
Right.
But yeah, and we met up and we kind of just like, this big mind map of what filmed could be, essentially, and then we brought all this together, the suite of production tools, and then the collaboration tools and the community feed, and it all just kind of played out there.
I think at the heart you nailed it. It's the democratizing the access to it. Really, it's basically just because it is so difficult to get into it. And there's so many stories to be told. I think it's just about highlighting that and empowering people to do that. Really,
yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah, and it's cool. And I really like the idea that you can collaborate so freely. And I love the idea of knowing that someone's just down the road. Because the amount of times you need a kit van, or you need a grip focus puller, or whatever it is, or just some hands, right? And there's someone right there. Oh, great, they can help with this, or that saves me hiring from here, and actually those little things are so important. Otherwise, you're always going to the big companies, going, oh, God, we need a van, and someone's got to travel all across the UK. Yeah. And actually, there's one right next to you, and I think that is really valuable because you'll probably know this as pockets of filmmakers in certain areas of each country or each town, and like in London, there's certain areas where there's a load of filmmakers, but you don't really know that until you meet them at an event. You go,
I don't know any filmmakers in London. Like honestly, there's so many people here, but like I never really bump into them, or I don't go out much, but like I don't bump into them. I don't, I never know where they're hanging out if they are here. So it's good. It's good that platform has that. It's also because, like, I think when I write, it's so bloody lonely. I'm just literally talking to myself over and over again. And the idea that you can have people on this platform to, just to keep in communications with, really, and just keep inspiring one another. I think it's good for the old head.
I think it's so important because when I write, I love to collaborate. I really struggle on my own. Like if I sit there sometimes I hit that brick wall, page 70 brick wall, they say, or 30, wherever it is, and you're just like, oh God, how do I get through it? So that's why I love collaborating. How do you do it when you're like on your own? How do you get through that?
I suppose I don't love collaborating on the script part that much. Not that early, just because I like to figure it out for myself. That's part of the fun. And I just allow myself time to do that, really. I call it stacking ammo, and that's basically I have my notes open, could be 6 months, and I'll take, if I hear a line or if I see a dress that's cool or like a hat or I watch a movie, I just keep stacking ammo, and then I'll come together and be like, okay, I think I've got like a scene here that I can put together. I very rarely sit down and go, I'm going to make myself write today, because I know I'm always going to rewrite it.
Right.
It's just a waste of time for me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you'll get your whole outline done by stacking stuff, if you like.
Yeah, there's no outline. I don't really have an outline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, my friends that do that, and I admire that they do that. It's kind of in awe, because I can't sit down and do treatments. I'm terrible at treatments.
Right. When people want treatments.
People want treatments, yeah, and I don't. I feel like it's putting like just I feel like it's blocking the actual idea. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like I suppose I love getting the character right and then kind of playing The Sims or Grand Theft Auto with them. Just kind of let them free roam and see what happens if it figures itself out.
Yeah, that's what I would say about sort of looking through the window at Craig's process. That's definitely what I would say. Is you almost create the characters and then you put them in situations together and see what comes out, as opposed to the typical sort of plot line and this is going to happen and this is going to happen, and then trying to figure out what the characters would do in those times. It's like you kind of chuck them in different positions and kind of like see how they sort of communicate with each other.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, it's easy enough to do the structure thing. I can see that. I can, I've read the Save the Cat or Dog or whatever it's called. All that
Save the Animal, whatever it is.
I've read those books and they're good. But I just, every time I'm like, and then the inciting incident happens here, and here's the reversal of that, and here's this. It just feels like so
clinical.
Yeah,
paint by numbers.
Yeah, paint by numbers. Yeah. It's just not fun, and it's got to be fun.
Yes,
because you're going to spend so much time on it.
Yeah,
you've got to absolutely love it because you're going to hate it by the end of it.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. And I think that is really interesting, because people do get stuck with, oh God, I've got to hit this by this number, and they do. And when you're stuck, I get it. Yeah. All right, that helps you. Save the cat to do this, do that to move your script forward. But I think when you're starting, sometimes it's literally do a vomit draft, get through the fuck up.
You're right.
Get to the end. and then work it out. What works? Find your feet with it.
I would also say that you should know the structure. I don't think it's as easy as like, okay, well, we could break all the rules. I think you've got to know the rules to be able to break them.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's very true. You've definitely got to be. It's almost like you're saying you've got to be aware of what should be happening. So then it's almost like it informs subconsciously what you're actually doing. Mm-hmm. It's like, so even though you're sort of playing well away from the play by numbers, playing by numbers, you're actually still sort of following that deep down somewhere. Because otherwise, ultimately those are there because we as viewers of films, we sort of find that like entertainment comes with that sort of arc, and it needs that beginning, middle, and end, etc. It needs that structure, and so ultimately it's we have to conform to that to some degree. I think when you're writing a script.
Well, it's almost we grew up with film and idea. Like when we were kids, we got a beginning, middle, and an end of a 3-minute story that our parents read to us, or hopefully read to us. So we've got that ingrained to us, this story of we can't help it. Mm-hmm. It's there. Yeah. So it's almost, anyone in the pub will tell you a story. It's got a beginning, middle, and end. If not, they're all like, shut up, man. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's stories have, so we get used to it, I think. So finding that within us is kind of, it's almost natural, I think.
You're right. And they have to, they most of the time have to have a punchline. Has to have a punchline. Yeah. And it's interesting, the ones that will have a punchline will make it more accessible, which probably relates to film in general. Mm-hmm. In terms of stories you tell in pubs or whatever.
And people make those, like, if you take the pub for a perfect example, people elaborate their stories every time to make it funny. What lands? How am I going to tell it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we as writers have to do the same thing. It's kind of what will land here, and then almost rip it apart again.
Yeah, that I think I've done that before with like ideas. Like I've had ideas and I'm like, I think that's a good idea for like a film. And I've been around friends and kind of tested it out like a joke. Like, oh, this thing happened, blah, 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 and see if it works. Most of the time it doesn't. And that's why the scripts don't exist.
And that's why we have no friends.
But I think that's so important, actually, telling your stories to other people. People get very frightened of telling their like script ideas, like someone will nick it, the effort of someone stealing your idea. They might steal the goblet of it, but actually your story and your idea. But the more you pitch it, the more you tell that story in the pub, if you like, or pitch it, people will tell you straight away, oh, you mean like that film? Or, well, that doesn't work because of...
Yeah.
And then you go, oh, right. But when people don't, they hold on to it. And suddenly they've spent 6 years on this script, they give it out, and everyone goes, yeah, no, it's nowhere near ready.
I love saying to a writer, oh, that's like that thing, that film. Because there's nothing winds a writer up more than that.
It totally does. And they go, for fuck's sake, I haven't seen that one. Fuck you. Yes.
They're always like, no, this is different.
Yeah, this is very different because... And you go, oh, is it? Oh, yeah. But, well, that's it. I suppose, where do your ideas come from? Like, where...
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you find ideas? Like,
they're in the next room and they're thrown to you piece by piece.
I'm off there now, see you in a bit.
Which room, left or right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's true, right?
Yeah, it is true.
So you're saying that it kind of feels almost like they come through you as opposed to come from you.
Well, that's what Lynch says. Yeah, Lynch is like the I think he says it's in the next room, and piece by piece the puzzle will be flicked to you.
Oh, interesting.
And also I think Charlie Kaufman also says that if you have an idea, I think it's Charlie Kaufman, but if you have an idea, you don't really need to write it. It'll write itself and then present itself to you when it's done.
Wow.
Which is a good way of looking at it. Because my partner will walk in and out the living room and I'll just be sat on the couch just staring at the wall. And she's like, you going to do any work? And I'm like, I am working. I'm waiting for it to figure itself out. Mm-hmm. Right? It just takes too long.
But it does take long, but also you do need that space. I think a lot of writers or filmmakers, they force an idea or they force it. They're like, I've got to do it. I've got to hit this. And then you end up pushing something that isn't fully formed. And you do need that time to sit on stuff and go, is it ready yet? Am I ready to write this? Am I ready to tell anyone this idea? We can do it too quickly and then it's over. Someone goes, yeah, it's not really ready. And it's disheartening and you just let it go.
Yeah, same with every part of the process, really. Like the edit, I think you need so much time away from the edit to actually figure out. But then I see people that like put films together in like a month and then they shoot and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I think I need 10 years to make this. Just so I understand like if it's any good.
Right.
And like 6 years after I edit it, just to like give some space. And then I see people put films together and like, I've got a mate who does it. Yeah, puts it together in like 2 weeks, shoots in a week, and it comes out really good. And it's like, All right.
All right.
Well, then every process is different for everyone, right? Maybe if he or she look back at those films in, say, a year, 2 years, and go, oh, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd taken more time. Maybe not, but I don't know. Sometimes you don't get a choice. You're like, the studio's going, here's your deadline.
Yeah.
Here's when you've got to deliver.
Also, you see your own work differently than somebody else. So, as you're watching their work, you're seeing it through obviously just typical viewer having no context, etc., and you're sort of seeing that. But then they may see all the imperfections of the fact that it was only a week shoot, etc., etc. They're going to be more glaring, I think.
Very true.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, so with writers, everybody sort of goes through a different process, and I think having access, just bringing it back to film, that ironically, but with having access to know what sort of other writers are around you, essentially, it'd be very easy and very cool to sort of meet up with a couple of writers that are around you and say, hey, let's either try and write together, or let's just bash around ideas and see, what do you think of this? And you're in a safe space where you can share ideas. You're amongst other writers, and so you've kind of got that, like the goal that you're all trying to achieve. Really, it's like a common goal,
and that's what is great about Filmd, because you can actually do that. Like, say, I have been telling people before Filmd, set up a little WhatsApp group, set up a community near you, put a notice up on your post office. If you're in a village, anyone interested in film scripts, get together with those people and bash ideas out and talk about your project. But people are so scared to do that. I'm like, no, do it. If you meet people on a film course, set up a WhatsApp group and talk to each other constantly about your process and what's happening. Then you're not so alone. And Filmd is exactly that. And I think it's great for professionals. And it's really cool.
It's the doing as well. We've got to get people doing. There's no experience like actually getting on a set and making something and just making it. Everyone has an iPhone, so everyone has a camera that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's been a lot of movies shot on iPhones. They're like successful movies.
So many. Yeah, Host is one recently that was ridiculously successful.
Love that.
Yeah, Host is great.
Host is great.
Yeah,
I love Dashcam as well.
Dashcam was really cool. We had all those guys on the pod recently, and such cool guys, and just like, talk about shooting something in a very short space of time.
Yeah. And
getting it shot and done and out there, and there you go.
Yeah, they're killing it. He's killing it as well, Rob. He's brilliant.
Rob's great, isn't he? I'm looking forward to Boogeyman. I think that's going to be very exciting, right? Yeah. Well, but the transition then, I suppose, from acting to directing, which is really interesting, and we'll bring it back to Filmd as well within that and how directing helps. But I suppose that is something foundation with Just Jim as your first film, and how you said, I want to do this, because obviously you were in Just Jim as well. So why direct? Why do it?
I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't act in something I direct again. I definitely wouldn't do that. Other people can do it very well, but I didn't really enjoy the experience. Actually, I did enjoy the experience, but I suppose I realized when I was doing acting and like doing interviews and junkets and stuff, people would be like, "Oh, what's your favorite actor?" and stuff like that. But I was always saying like filmmakers, like directors, like films that I loved, and also Punch Drunk Love was handed to me on this, I think it was the set of Submarine. Richard Ayoade handed me Punch Drunk Love, and that changed my life. Like that completely, it opened something that was like, oh wow, I didn't know cinema was this at all. Like the whole Superman theme throughout the film, and like the different colors and how that can all. Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is really interesting. I think that just triggered something where I was like, well, I suppose I want to tell stories, and I wanted to do kind of Welsh stories, I suppose, because there's something about Welsh people that I love so much. They're just so funny, they're just and so warm, like. So yeah, started with Just Jim, acted in that, and that went okay. That was fun.
It went more than okay. It was a I felt like you arrived. It was a time that I was moving into directing heavily, and you came along. I was like, this actor's just made this, and fucking hell, it's brilliant. And the success of it, maybe not your side of it's different. From my side, looking in, and maybe you'll say the same, Craig, was really interesting. It was like, fucking hell, fair play, because it was brilliant. It was so well made, and you were brilliant in it, which is really hard.
I appreciate that. I mean,
sorry to put you. I don't want to say that.
It was fun. It was. I appreciate that. Thank you. It was.
It's too hard to accept compliments, isn't it?
I do not accept.
We only listen to the shit, don't we? So it's so funny. You can get the best reviews in the world, but we just get that one shitty person who goes, one troll that literally says something. We take that to heart so badly. It's such a shame we do that.
But I that's funny you say that, because like with Just Jim, it was a critic gave a review for it. So the reviews were like, okay, they were fine. I mean, look, the movie's slightly abstract and it's weird, and sure. I understand that. Like, it's not for everybody. But there was some reviews that went out, and there was one review where the guy did a video review, and he basically said, I think it was Craig Roberts. Well, first off, he's like, I've seen Craig around town. He's a cool kid. I've never seen this guy around town at all.
He's seen you though,
and I don't know what
from his bedroom window. In your garden.
I don't know what town he's talking about, but he was like Craig Roberts with a little bit of rope or whatever he'd been given.
Wow.
Has hung himself.
What?
Yeah, it's come close to hanging himself or whatever.
So he complimented you by saying he's a cool guy around town, or seen him around town, and then literally cut the rope you were hanging on, guillotine in front of you.
Yeah. And like I was like, I mean, I was 24. I was 24.
Wow.
So I was just like, damn. That happened. I took a knock, and then it took me a while to get back into it. To be honest, it was like, shit, am I doing the right thing? Because I was like pivoting on something that was going well. Acting was going well, and I was enjoying it, and I didn't want to, kill something that was, real enough. But anyway, it took a while for me to like kind of build it back up and like kind of want to prove them wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, I hear that. I remember getting one really bad one for a film, and it was one of my favourite publications, and it killed me. I don't think I spoke to him for like 3 weeks. I was so upset by it, and I'm still doing the podcast pretending everything's fine, and now I can say about it, but at the time it hurt so much that I couldn't breathe. You were just like, fuck. So I understood what you go through.
Well, that's the thing. There's never going to be everybody that likes it. That's the issue. Is that by putting out some creative work and having some sort of voice, ultimately somebody isn't going to like that voice. And so, we all have different preferences, even on genre of films that we like and don't like. And so just by even having a genre of film, you're going to essentially sort of alienate some proportion of film viewers. And so, yeah, it's really, really tough. But when it's someone actually reviewing it and they're a critic, and then they make such a scathing comment like that, it's really personal, isn't it? I would imagine as a critic as well, if you potentially watch something and you're like, I'm not really enamored by that didn't really kind of make sense, that isn't going to make a good review. I wasn't really enamored by that. It's not going to get people reading it. Whereas an anecdote like the rope line is going to bring people in, because it's shocking.
I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure like jokes about death by suicide is like a way to bring somebody in.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, to be honest. It actually should have been. Someone should do. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff when it's personal, or they're saying someone should do something to themselves or whatever. To me, that's punishable, right? I'm like, really? Is there no one monitoring this shit? No, there isn't, but there should be.
When we spoke about this in the past, actually, and what's been really interesting is to see how aspiring filmmakers see someone like Craig Roberts, who, with his successes.
Yep. Full name, please. Every time.
Craig
Middle
name?
Craig number one. It's got to be a Welsh name.
Hayden Roberts.
yes, of course.
And see that they're also knocked. Everybody can get knocked, and everybody can get sort of bad reviews, and so it's and that shouldn't be something that puts you off. You should be obviously mildly frightened of it, of course, and it's all, but just be aware that it too shall pass, almost. And that's what I suppose it's advice for aspiring film and established filmmakers, really, because you're only one film away from it all being chaotic. But it's exactly that. It's just know that everybody goes through it. Everybody has those moments.
They're great. The good reviews, the bad reviews.
Right.
I think absolutely whatever. Let them do it. Let them know that. I in that moment I was like, oh man, what the hell? But now I'm just like, great, it's cool, and it doesn't really affect anything. It doesn't affect anything. Like, I don't think your career's over if you get a bad review. It really isn't. Every time I say bad review,
me too. Yeah. We did a film together, and there's an improvised section about bad reviews and how we don't want a bad review. It's every time we say bad review, it just brings us right back to that film. It's really funny. It's definitely an in-joke. It's funny.
That's fun. But it is true. Looking back now, and it's so good to hear you say that. It's true. We're lucky to make films, right? You're lucky to be in a position where you have a film out that people can watch, and it's your vision. All right, you might have had to do compromise everywhere, but you got it done. But going back to that directing thing, did you fall in love with directing? Because you made a short before that, right? Which was, let me get this right, The Sheepish Approach.
That's so interesting. That's so weird to get that. You're like Nardwar.
Thank you for saying that.
That's amazing. It isn't a short, really. It was more of like a teaser trailer to make a TV show.
Oh yeah, it was.
And it was like a Welsh TV show that I wanted to make at the time.
And this was while you were acting. Was it at the time, or was it just?
Oh, this would have been just after Sub. Yeah. So
So people were probably shouting at you what you should be doing, and you're like, I'm off to make this.
Yeah. And it never sort of like the light of day. Like it's not something that was. I don't think is even out there. Hopefully, I mean, we were kind of just trying to make a TV teaser. But what I did do was music videos.
Yes,
I shot a bunch of music videos just to practice, really, just to try and figure it out. But Just Jim was my practice. That was my film school. That was because you can see I can probably every scene tell you a film that influenced that, and I wore it on my it's there. And with my second film, it was about kind of moving away from Wes Anderson, to be honest, because so many people like every time I get a review, it's always like Wes Anderson. I'm not aiming for Wes Anderson at all.
I'd love to be on his. You know what I mean?
But I'm really not aiming for like he is so specific, like it's so tableau vivant, it's so stylized that like I just don't know how I get close to that. So my mission always is just moving away from Wes Anderson. I love his films. He's great, but like I definitely not trying to make those films. So yeah, with the second film, Eternal Beauty, it was just about moving away from like the people that I loved, the movies that I loved, the filmmakers that I loved, and trying to figure out what's my voice and what's simple stuff.
Was it easier? I'll say. Because I probably know the answer to this, but I want to ask you anyway. Was it easier to get Eternal Beauty made as opposed to Just Jim?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't easier. No, I think we all know that. Well, no, we don't all know, but like the percentage of people making second and third films in this country is.
I think we did it. I know that 10 years ago it was 85 to 90%.
Yeah, you know this now.
Well, we're working with Biffa right now. It's filmed, and so we're sort of we're in partnership with them, and we're housing their Springboard initiative, which is it's helping us second-time filmmakers. So they're doing a second feature.
It's a great initiative.
And so we're sort of housing the sort of online collaboration platform for them, and they can continue their cohort discussions, and they can manage all their sort of documentation and everything else. So they're kind of creating that platform within Filmed, and they say that it's 60% of the Biffa long-listed filmmakers that don't make a second feature. So these are people that have proven themselves, made an amazing first feature. They've been long-listed by Biffa, and so they're obviously extremely talented, and yet they don't make a second feature. So and thus it's more like 80 to 90% when you're outside of being recognised by Biffa. So it's just there's so many hurdles and issues with sort of making films, and let alone if you're trying to get rounds of funding and everything else to kind of go with that, and then names attached, etc. So it depends of what scale of independent film you're doing, but ultimately it's just so hard, and that's another reason why I think it's really important to be able to manage a project together with all the people involved and kind of get everyone in one space, because currently it's done through obviously emails and messages, and then it's just it's all over the show. So
you can do all of these things at Filmed.
But yeah, it's
I'll put that right at the beginning.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey guys and gals, Giles here, jumping in to tell you about Huw Scripts. Well, they're a script analysis service who provide detailed, constructive and professional reports on shorts, features and TV scripts. They work with both emerging talent aiming for a break in the industry, as well as established writers looking to take their scripts and ideas to the next level. They have experienced readers with a track record at honing scripts into the best and most appealing version for production companies and other partners. And because you listen to the Filmmakers Podcast, you get 3 months membership for free for a limited time. So get there now. Huwscripts.com. Link is in the show notes. Easy. Huwscripts.com. Check them out. No, and it's true that getting that second film then, and actually I produced a movie that the director was Biffa longlisted for, and he still hasn't made the second feature. He's been talking about it, and there's been lots of process, but you're like, that talent is incredible. And yeah, and it's still so hard for him to make his next feature, and you kind of go, oh, why? So surely the British film people, the institutes, and everyone else of filmmakers can go, cool, how if you can't make another feature and it was successful,
what chance have I got?
Exactly.
No, exactly. And what Biffa seem to allude to is that they're saying that once somebody's made their first feature, it is almost like they are quote unquote successful now. They've made their first feature. Oh, they're successful. They don't need any more support. Off you go, sail into the sunset. You continue making features and have an amazing career. And that's just not the case. It's like
and usually you made that for no money. You spent all your time, money, and effort on it. Then now you've got to work for 3 years just to cover recoup any kind of money you spent on it. So it's so difficult.
Yeah.
So with your second one, Eternal Beauty, then, like you said, it wasn't. That was the first one, sort of. Obviously, it's a lower budget.
So it was 300,000. So it was cinematic scheme, which was in Wales, and I think it was Film Agency Wales and BFI, and kind of like the micro
budgets, what's it called? The microwave scheme.
Yeah, right? I thought it was called microwave. And I was like, surely it wasn't called microwave.
It was called microwave scheme.
Okay, so
they got rid of that pretty quickly. They made some films on it, but then moved
some
on.
good films. Shifty, really
Shifty's
good.
Amazing, right?
So yeah, it was part of that really. And then so with the second one, we knew it would be tougher. I didn't really make it easier. I could have written a really commercial comedy, but it was a psychological drama about somebody with schizophrenia. So I made it harder for myself. And I think like the humor confused people a little bit. Like why is it funny, and should it be funny with I don't know.
With such a serious subject matter, really.
Yeah.
It's hard, but at the same time, I think I can't speak for you, but I think what you were trying to achieve almost is to allow the main character in the movie to be as real as anybody else, and to almost have a superpower, right?
Yeah, well, I just felt that like a lot of movies about psychosis, certainly women with psychosis, are always like a demon possesses her and running down a corridor, and it's like so this was about taking someone's perceived weakness and trying to turn it into a strength in some way. Anyway, so that certainly didn't help me get the money saying that in the room.
Everyone's going, oh, here's money. It's ching.
What a commercial idea. 200 million. So the budget, I think, was about 2.1.
Right,
something around
jump.
that. Yeah, and then I wanted to shoot on film, so that was like, okay, I'm determined to shoot on film, and
good for you.
That was the hardest thing to do. That was definitely the hardest thing because just completion bonds don't really, don't see the point of it. I suppose they kind of, digital does the same thing, and you can get digital to look like film, like really close, obviously. So yeah,
but it's not the same.
It's not the same, and it's not the same. Not really for the aesthetic. Like I love it aesthetically. I think it's beautiful, but like it's more the discipline is what I love about it. The idea that you have maybe 2 or 3 takes per shot, and when you hear that turning, it's kind of a magic, and there's a gestalt that happens in the moment. There's like more than the sum of its parts happens. Something else is added where like people will do their best performances. The adrenaline kicks in, and that's what I love about it so much. So it took ages for me to win that, and interestingly, I'd spoken to somebody that shot on film, and they basically gave me a steer that was like, you just need a creative way to convince people that it's right. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I was like, my character is dealing with like the result of a chemical reaction, so therefore I should film it with a chemical reaction. So as soon as I said that, kind of everyone backed away, and it was sorted. So that's interesting to know that if you've got a way in that's like, oh, but this is for, because essentially
tied to the creativity of the film,
like
you're not just because you want to and it looks cool. It's actually there's a reason.
Exactly. And I would probably never turn back on the film thing now. And what's quite fun about that as well is that every movie that you kind of make on film is a different game, because you've got to like the last movie I did, The Phantom of the Opera, I'm sure I probably went over on the film stock. So it's like, I've got to go under on the next one. And there's this kind of game where like, you've got to look like you're just not burning money.
Yes, you've got to. But that, like say, that discipline is so important. When you are shooting on digital, you can go, oh, let's just go again. And let's keep turning.
Yeah.
And actually that discipline of going, shit, there's so much money going through that can right now.
Yeah.
I feel like an actor, when I'm acting on digital, I feel lazy.
Yes, right.
I feel like I go
yeah, again. Me too.
I feel like I could just like go again, really, but you can.
You can. You go, oh, do you know what? I fancy another one. I wasn't really ready, but on film,
if I had a dime. I think that's so true as well, though. It's the physicality of it, like being sort of put onto film as it's happening right there, and there's no going back, and it's that like you say in the room is so, because I've been on set whilst that's been happening, obviously with Craig's sort of films and stuff, and it like there is a buzz in the air. It's like It's very interesting.
But that feeling, I sort of alluded to it, but that feeling of directing for the first time, and you, like say, you made a short / pilot TV episode, but then and music videos, and then jumping in to directing. I suppose that'll get us to Phantom of the Open as well. How did that feel? Like, was it what you wanted it to be? What was the feeling in your heart that made you go, I want to do this again?
Surviving it, really, just getting through it, because like it's you.
Survived. Therefore, I must do another.
It wasn't a disaster, I suppose. So like the coming out of it and being like, oh, not so much like the kind of control over like everything and like being able to like, you know, it's your vision all the way through. Not so much that, because I do like the collaboration part of it. It was more just the idea that people are turning up to make something you've written. Like the idea that everyone's coming, like you feel like, you know, when you going back to like when I had like my wrestlers or like my gargoyles and I'd play with them as kids, like it's almost like it's all come to life and like everyone's in my house like, making it happen. So it was the idea of that just felt really magical. I couldn't quite believe it. So yeah, that bad review, I'm telling you, that's what made me want to do it again. That's like that bad review was like, no, they're wrong. Like, absolutely, I can do this. You know, I can do anything I put my mind to. So like, I was like, yeah, that's why I wanted to do it again. And also, I work with a great producer called Adrian Bate, and he's great. So I just, you know, work with your friends. Work with your friends is actually the best thing. Right. Yeah, especially because that's why Craig's around all the time.
Yeah. Also, like finding somebody with the same name often helps as well.
Yeah. Really helps. It's easy then. Craig will do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of them. One or two. I was weird today. Work it out.
It just makes it so much easier working with friends because, like, you know, the Big Brother experiment of putting crew and cast together and not knowing how people will respond to each other. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do that when everyone's friends.
It's really true, and you can overcome problems because you've already dealt with those problems either on other sets or as friends in relationships and whatever. And on set, that is pretty much what it is. You're thrown into this boiling pot of emotions are very high. Yeah, and if someone's a bad apple in there, it can drag everything down. So it's so important that team is strong, and that's what film is going to be great for, is because you can create those teams. So if you don't know anyone in your area, now is perfect example to try and find those people and collaborators around you and make those friends, right?
Yeah, just all like work together with those same people. I think also there's got to be a sort of, the more you sort of create and the more sort of films you go through as a sort of little team together, the faster things will get, the more in sync your sort of voice will become and all of that. Whereas I would imagine that sort of turning up on set and just working for 3-6 months, whatever, with a bunch of people who are obviously extremely skilled in their individual crafts, but then have never worked together before, and then they kind of come for that moment and then they leave. It also is, and I've definitely found this on set as well, is that there's almost like a clinicalness or a staleness to it, that because you just all know that you're there for the creation of this film, and that so the fun is almost taken away because you're not enjoying who you're working with, and so and there's no long-term friendships made necessarily. So yeah, I think. Yeah, there's certainly, we've heard lots of actors who have come away from a movie and gone, yeah, I hated every minute of filming that, and I had to like do with my love interest or whatever, you know, and I just absolutely hated everything. And then you got other filmmakers. I'm pretty sure Adam Sandler does this a lot. He just works with all of his friends and just like same people, you know. So yeah, exactly. I think that's. And
if it's your production company and you've set this up, it's your baby. Yeah, why would you not work with people you want to work with? Did you work, is there some of your team who's still from just Jim? I say obviously there's certain people, but or certainly a certain beauty to, you know, Phantom of the Open.
Yeah, well, Sean Jenkins, costume designer, has done all 3 of my films. Kit has done 2 of my films, the DOP, Kit Fraser.
Kit Fraser, I know Kit from years back. Yeah, we did all sorts of stuff years ago together with Kit. He's great.
Kit Fraser on blast.
Yeah, on blast. Kit Fraser. He's cool, isn't he?
He's awesome. He's absolutely awesome. He's so smart. He's so together and just like the prep he puts in. I'm not going to say too many good things about him if this is going on there. If he hears this.
Will he listen this far?
Is he
wait for his name.
No, he doesn't.
My rate just doubled.
Yeah, that's it. Well, have you found that too, that crew members as well who you're doing well and you build it and a film does well with them, they get taken and they get pinched in a good way. It's like great for them, but you as the filmmakers are going, cool, I've got another film, but they've got Netflix now and they've got to deal with so and crew members go, and it's a shame, but that's good for them. But it's can be tough.
Yeah. Well, Kit was big before I got met him really. So like after working with Babak and stuff. So I was like,
you stole him. You're the one who stole him.
Yeah, I feel like, but
you stole him from everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah, he's my friend
now.
It
was you.
But I work with him on everything. He's just,
he's really cool.
He's so cool.
Yeah, that's good. And then also work with Sally Hawkins as well. It's finding the same actors, the same teams as well is important. For something like Phantom of the Open, to get that made, did they want specific names in that? I say they, as in you might have said, no, we raised all the money ourselves, we did it ourselves. But I'm presuming it was more of a studio.
Well, it was E1, BBC, and BFI.
Right.
So no, we didn't need names really. No, they didn't ask for names.
Really?
It was a very, very independent film, wasn't it?
It's pretty independent, yeah. I mean, yeah.
They must have said you can't just get Barry from,
They did ask for me originally.
They did ask for Craig.
Keep running that joke. But
You're loving that joke.
Yeah, I was just loving that joke. That's for Craig. Yeah, I'm here.
Humility,
You've gone a long way. And then did they ask for you to be in it as well? Did they, especially in...
No, they were like, in fact, you definitely don't put yourself in this movie. So they didn't answer. I mean, we obviously wanted and we wanted somebody that was like, actually, to be honest, we wanted Mark Rylance. We were like, Mark Rylance is Mark Rylance, and we felt like he looked like him a bit. And I remember talking to Simon Farnaby and the producers, and I was like, this script is very funny, but we need to ground it. It needs to be, played seriously, really, and it'll just be funnier for it. And obviously everyone was on the same page, so we were like, let's go for Mark Rylance. So I wrote a note to Mark, and then with the script, and then I think somebody got it to his agent, and then I just had a brief conversation with him where I talked about like Punch Drunk Love and like all these films. I talked about Paul Thomas Anderson too much actually, because at one point he was like, "You really like Paul Thomas Anderson?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah."
Do you not? Because this might not work.
And yes, but as soon as he came on, I mean, he was on when he said he wanted to do it. It then went in like a couple of months because it just went straight away. So that's the power of him, really. That's the power of.
Yeah, wasn't he like, I've not really had a comedy dropped on my desk before.
That's right. Yeah, I think in the press release to the film, he'd said that he'd never been sent a comedy or something like that. So a lot of people missed out.
I totally missed out, but great for you because he's absolutely fantastic and
he's
brilliant. Perfect for it.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's just, he's fantastic. I love actors that have just, it's all in the eyes, and he's all that. He's kind of got that Harold and Moore deadpan about him. But
he's the big friendly giant, I mean, it's all about the eyes, he's already there, and he's fantastic. Dunkirk, he's one of those actors who's been around, theatre actor who's suddenly burst onto the film stage, and he's pick and chooses what he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's the hardest part of working with him is that you have to learn Shakespeare to communicate with him.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my mate Richard Short was.
Do you want to do a bit now?
How did you communicate?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my mate Richard Short did Jerusalem with him in the West End. So he was like, look, he's such a great guy, and
he's the best,
and really nice. So it's nice to hear that. And what about working with actors then? How do you, obviously being an actor helps, but how is it on set for you? Is it changed over time from just Jim to now in terms of your process?
Well, I'm working with better actors than just Jim.
Talking about yourself, right?
That's a relief. There's a lot of shouting and a lot of throwing things around.
Yeah.
No. I the opposite of that. In fact, I just don't know. I don't like any kind of I don't like sets that are tense or like too performatively. Like you're coming together to make something, and it's really fun. It's really easy to not be a dickhead. Yes. Like it really is. So if there's any bad vibes, I hate that completely, and I really try. I don't think I've ever lost my cool, I hope, on set at all. Certainly with anybody, I kind of just figure my stuff out, and if I don't have the answers, or if an actor has a question for me, I always go with, I'll get back to you on that. Always, because I don't want to give the wrong answer and then go back on it and it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. So David Lynch says really good tip is to drink loads of coffee, and you need the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, you get time on your own.
It's a great tip.
That's the best thing to do. Just keep drinking, take yourself off and have time to think. But yeah, I just like calm sets. I like people to get along, and then in terms of like working with the actors, they better be good. And
It's a good bar to set, to be fair.
You said about
better be good.
You said about Sally before. Let me know if I'm butchering this, but you've essentially just gone. I'm not going to give her any direction because I don't want to stop her brilliance. At least for the first few takes, you want to see what she's going to bring to the table. I think, is that true?
Yeah. Well, it's the clipping the wing. It's the clipping the wings thing. Like if an actor comes onto the set and you're like, you just stand there and you say this line like this and exactly like that, and then you look there. It's like, it's not really fun at all. I have probably done that at certain points just because I storyboard everything. So I'm trying to, one of the biggest battles for me always is storyboarding everything and knowing that when I turn up on set and I'm like, oh, I think your character would probably just stand here, and then the actor's like, I don't know, I think I'd be standing there, and I'm like, I don't know, I think you're standing in the first place.
The picture says
where I pointed in the first
stick man. Terrible drawing here is where you're.
I know it doesn't look like you, but it is you. Knowing that, I've spent ages trying to storyboard it, it's like, oh, that's going to connect to that guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be really fun, and then as soon as you go on set, it's like, that's not going to happen anymore, and then you just got to adapt. That's why I think rehearsals are interesting, because I don't think you rehearse for the good, I think you rehearse for the bad. You get rid of everything and you prepare for something to go wrong. That's pretty much how I feel about it.
Especially when you're shooting on film. I think, ultimately it's a visual medium, isn't it? So, there has to be that visual component consideration, and thus there is a sort of a restriction there than just complete freedom for an actor. So you have to navigate that, right, as a director.
Yeah, well, everyone's different, obviously. But for me, if I'm making a film, if I don't have some kind of double meaning in most frames, and I know it sounds douchey, I may as well do a radio play. That's how it feels for me. I love adding little Easter eggs and stuff like that. All kind of, The Shining or those, like Jordan Peele's doing. Jordan Peele is, he nailed it on Ghetto, and the kind of the visual metaphors throughout the whole thing is just amazing.
How do you plan that then? Because it's difficult to get those double meanings or the things within certain shots sometimes. So if you're saying, for instance, mirror's a perfect example of an easy option to say, oh, cool, well, there'll always be a reflection of something. There'll always be the reflection of someone in the shot, or a glass, or something. How do you prepare that?
I suppose I don't let everybody know. There are a few heads of departments.
Just throw a glass in.
Yeah, throw it in. Lob it in.
Think fast.
Probably the best thing I can think of is with the Phantom of the Open. I told Kit and I told the production designer and the costume designer, and I said, okay, so he's Superman. We're going to go with him being Superman. He's been dropped down just like Punch Drunk Love, and that's going to inform absolutely everything. So throughout the whole movie, so the kind of the golf outfit he has, we made that, and it's the diamonds with the Superman color. He's wearing the red hat, and at the end when he jumps off the crane or whatever, he's got the red jacket and it looks like a cape and all that kind of stuff. And then that meant the production design. Everyone has their own then everyone can go down a rabbit hole, because then the production designer okay, we'll do this number plate for the car, which is his Kryptonian name. So then we were like, oh, let's change the dog to the dog that Superman had. So then we got the Superman dog, and then when we got to post, it was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have a comet that's dropping at the beginning of the film, so you can see Superman coming down to Earth. So then we put that in. So just one thing that then so many people can have fun with, and also there's a double meaning in the whole thing.
So you're saying almost by giving the sort of HRDs the freedom to follow that vein almost, that you don't necessarily even have to come up with them all.
No, I turn up on set and there was bunting everywhere that was all blue, red and yellow. I was like, these people are great. I love them all so much. Yeah. It's just so fun.
Yeah. Right. So to explain your vision to someone, whatever it is, images or whatever, and then you get to set, you're talking about set, and they do, they've added their own slant on yours. It's incredible, isn't it? You walk on set and so you just go, wow, thanks so much. Made me look cool.
Yeah. And what's interesting, again, I'm going to go back to David Lynch, because he's just the best at communicating the complexities within it all. But when the collaboration side of it, interestingly at the beginning of it, in terms of writing, I'm not that great at collaborating at the beginning of writing something, and then once it's done, I kind of script editors and stuff like that. But when you've written something and you start filming it, you have your original idea, and then people come along and you collaborate with them, and then they put their ideas on top of your idea, so they just start stacking it and stacking it and stacking it, and then when you get to the edit, essentially your only mission is to remove every single idea and just figure out what that idea was originally, and that will give you all the clarity. And it took me a while to actually figure that out. And when I heard Lynch talk about that, I was like, oh, that's it. That's completely it. Because you can lose your way in the edit absolutely. There's always like, I feel like every director's like, this isn't working, let's turn it black and white. I was like, this isn't working, 4:3 ratio.
Yeah. Let's do everything slow-mo.
We need voiceover immediately.
Yeah, let's do the whole thing voiceover. It's so true. I love that stacking thing you said. I think, and you mentioned it before, and I think that's really interesting. And that is kind of, putting your finger on what filmmaking is sometimes. It's stacking. It's like you've got this maybe idea and then you put that on top, that. I love that. And it's so true. It's everyone's film. It's not your film. It's everyone's film. Everyone's helping, doing their best to make this work.
Yeah.
And do you talk to your crew that way as well? How, I love the Danny Boyle way, which is he makes them all mini directors of their own little area.
Love that.
And I think it's really important, and I try and do it as much as you can, to say, look, you're in charge of this. I love what you're doing. Show me what you're doing, but you're the boss.
Yeah.
It's your team.
I love that. I don't really be like, I'm not, let's have a meeting every hour so you can show me what you've got.
Yeah.
On Eternal Beauty, we weren't able to do it on Phantom because of COVID, but on Eternal Beauty, we had a cinema that we would play movies for the crew. So we would show a movie a week during prep, essentially, and then everybody was on the same page in terms of like, this is the tone, and I'd be like, and maybe the color palette for this thing, and then this, and blah, blah, blah. And then you just kind of let people do their own thing. I mean, people don't need their hands held. No. They're all they're all competent and like very talented people, and it's all crewing up and casting. It's like if you get it right, your job is easy. The whole acting, all in the casting, of course it is. Like, you can shoot on film, you can shoot on Christopher Nolan's IMAX camera for all I care. If you don't have good actors, the movie's done. Mm-hmm. The movie's done. If you have great actors in iPhone, it's going to be a better film.
Yeah. I love that. And to bring it back around perfectly to Filmd. Filmd is like great. It's a great platform. Excellent. People can sign up now and it's free for 3 months. Is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, as of now.
It is. Now.
Yeah, as of now. We are considering changing
this
that.
is released.
It does actually, yeah. So, check out if you are wanting to sign up for film, folks, and go over there and have a look if it's 3 months, but maybe 28 days. But yeah, it's definitely 3 months for now.
Okay, that's amazing.
And we've got schemes coming out. I think we've just closed one.
Yeah, we've been running a Filmd grant, actually, and we've just finished our second grant, which has been really, really cool, because obviously one of the major sort of hurdles that a filmmaker has to overcome is obviously the financing of a movie. So, we ran our first film grant. It was really successful. A lot of people sort of applied. We had some amazing scripts. We were just like, this is amazing. It's a real way, like a tangible way we can help filmmakers, and we're seeing the actual product of it. So that's amazing. And so we're like, right, let's continually just do these. Every time one closes, we'll go through the sort of shortlist process, and then the choosing of the winner, and then we'll just relaunch another. And so the second one has just finished the submissions, but yeah, like there'll always be one running, pretty much. And we're going to be working with other people as well to try and increase the sort of grant and maybe have several at the same time running, etc. So by collaborating with us, but it's the film grant. So that's really cool.
What do they need to do to apply? Is it
just have a short film?
Yeah, it was. I mean, this one, the original one had really no sort of criteria. It was just submit a script basically, and some people submitted 120-page scripts and stuff.
No, cheers, guys. It said short. We got to read this shit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you get 100 of those, and it's suddenly a month's worth of work trying to read them all. But it's so we didn't really have much of a criteria. So this time we were like, right, it has to be a 5 to 6 page, 5 minute sort of short film, and so then we can actually get through them and read them all. It's probably going to be that for a while. Also the budget, also the grant right now, it's not a £20,000 grant or anything. So it's there's only so much you can do with a smaller budget. So we think it's just more realistic for somebody to try and shoot 5 pages on a smaller budget than it would be if somebody's trying to shoot a 40-page short film. Yeah, we just want people to actually make stuff, and so we're trying to, with the previous winner, Francesca, she's doing an animation, and so we've been working with her, just sort of reaching out and being like, right, how can we help, with this sort of composition, etc. So it's really exciting because we're getting to, as a company, we're getting to work with filmmakers. We're also supporting filmmakers financially, which is obviously really, really good, and then they're able to screen that on our screening room, because we have like a mini version of a movie Netflixy type aspect to our platform, and it just allows people to sort of submit their work and then showcase it to others. Where a future feature we'll be building out is private screenings as well, so members will be able to sort of run a screening of the first draft of their movie, and sort of bring in sort of the people that they want to view it, run a private screening, get feedback, and go through that sort of editing process really. So loads of stuff in the pipeline, but it's But that's kind of why we just knew building this. So we said it's right from the very beginning. Like, it doesn't matter that, you know, the company's brand new. We just knew that we wanted to support filmmakers financially as well, because it's all well and good sort of putting people together, but without the money of being able to actually sort of get the equipment that they would need rented, etc., that's a major stopping point, you know,
for so many people.
So even though it's our first 2 grants were for £1,000 each, even though it's a relatively small amount of money in the grand scheme of things, certainly with filmmaking, is that it's we just knew that we wanted to put some money where our mouth is with regards to this, and actually support people that way.
It's impressive, and it's really cool, and it's really great. So well done. Exciting. Final bit of advice from both of you you get this question all the time, it's fucking boring, but it's a good one. That advice of how to sort of move from acting to directing, or how to set up a platform, something that's really interesting that can help filmmakers.
I think probably set realistic goals and don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, I'm looking at it just from like in terms of like, let's say writing. I think that if you have days where you can't write or don't write, I think that's fine. I think it's absolutely fine. Don't be hard on yourself. Like, everything's hard enough as it is. Go at your own pace and get off social media.
Nice.
Obviously, building the web application, so building Filmd, has been literally a few years in the making, and it's hard graft. There's a whole team of developers and designers and obviously us just sort of creating this. And so, what I would say is that, and I say this to anybody who's sort of getting into business, because I've worked with, done a lot of client work of other people sort of creating web applications and stuff, is that ultimately the larger the barrier to entry, the more likelihood you're going to succeed, the likelihood of success, really. Because, you know, if the barrier to entry is so low, then a lot of people either do it or try to do it. And so almost when you come across a hurdle, and this is replicated in the film industry as well, of course, is that when you come across a hurdle, almost be thankful of it, because there'll be a number of people that will get to that point who will then decide, oh, this is enough, I can't do this. And then the likelihood of, if you get through those hurdles, you've then got a much more chance of like making a dent, making an impression, like making something of value. And I think it can't be easy if it's valuable, I think. So knowing how you navigate through those hurdles is key.
Very good. So basically, you can make your films. Don't be shy. Understand your headspace. Understand you might need time. It's not easy, and you can go do it. You can make your films. You can set up a platform. You do whatever you need to do to move forward in your business and whatever you want to do. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the elevator back down. Craig Heyworth, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Craig Roberts, thank you.
Thank you. I love that. Send it back down.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I've said it on every podcast. I think this is like the 290th I've said it ever.
I love that so much. That's great.
Yeah, it does.
Send it down for us.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I say that sometimes. My other co-hosts have to say that.
My button's not working.
There you go. We will see you next Tuesday. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for being amazing. Take care. Go make your films. Bye.